Hello friends, myself Kadu, and in a previous lecture we have studied the 7th standard topic of math, that is the bank. Okay, now in this lecture we have to study the simple interest. Okay, in a previous lecture we have studied that bank provides the certain amount of the interest on the money where the person deposited in account. Okay, we have seen the different types of the account, that is saving account, current account, fixed deposit account. Okay, on the fixed deposit account the bank provides the maximum interest. Okay, so how this the interest which is provided by the bank on the deposition, how this account or how this interest is measured. So there are the certain word problem is given on your book, that is on page number 71. Okay, the first problem is that the Neha took a loan of the 15,000 rupees at the 12% per annum to buy a two-wheeler. Okay, what amount she returned to bank at the end of the 1 year? Okay, means the Neha took the 15,000 loan from the bank. Okay, and at the end of the year Neha have to return the bank or owe to bank certain amount, but not only the 15,000 rupees but also the extra money, which is nothing but the interest which they have to pay to the bank. Okay, so for that interest then what is the rate of interest? Then the rate of interest is nothing but the 12% per annum. Okay, this is nothing but the 12% for per annum. Okay, now you have to find out the interest Neha have to pay to the bank. Okay, you have to find out the interest. The amount, that is the total money owed to the bank at the end of the time, okay, is to be calculated here. You have to find out the total amount which have to pay to the bank at the end of the 1 year by the Neha. Okay, now what is our basic amount? Then means the amount which is taken as the loan by the Neha is nothing but the principal. Okay. Now what is the principal then? Principal is nothing but the 15,000 rupees which is taken as the loan from the bank by the Neha. This is nothing but the 15,000 rupees we have taken. This is the principal. Now what is the N? The N, we have the symbol N is nothing but the rate of interest. Okay. Sorry, the R. Okay. So R is nothing but the rate of interest which is given as the 12% per annum. Okay, and now N is nothing but the time period, means for the 1 year, 2 year or the 3 year. But in this case they have took the loan only for the 1 year, so our time period means N is nothing but the 1 year. Okay, this is the 1 year. So what we have to find out? We have to find out the amount. What amount? The amount after the 1 year Neha have to pay back to the bank. Okay, we have to find out the total amount. So there are the two ways to find out the interest. Okay, but there are the two methods. In the second method we are going to solve this problem by the standard formula, but first of all we have to solve this problem by the first method. Okay, so the 12% per annum is nothing but what we can say, that the 12 rupees on the 100 rupees for the 1 year. Okay, the 12% per annum is nothing but the 12 rupees on 100 rupees for the 1 year. Okay, this is given in our problem. Okay, now what is our principal then? For we have taken this one for the 1 year. Okay, but we have taken the 50,000 rupees. Okay, so at the position of the 100 rupees we have taken the 15,000 rupees. Okay, so what will be the rate of interest? Then what will be the interest rate? This taken has to be the X. Okay, and this is for same, that is the 1 year. Okay, means the 12 rupees for the 100 rupees, then how many rupees for the 15,000 rupees? Okay, by doing here the cross multiplication, that is we get the value of X, that is the 50,000 rupees multiplied by 12 divided by 100. Okay, this 0 get cancelled, so we get the 6,000 rupees. Okay, we get the 6,000 rupees, means the Neha taken this loan, or this loan is taken by the Neha at the 12% per annum, means the 12 rupees for the 100 rupees. Then how many rupees for the 15,000 rupees? That is a 6,000 rupees for the 15,000 rupees. This is nothing but the interest. Okay, this is nothing but the interest. So at the end of the year, the Neha have to pay back the amount. Okay, this amount is nothing but the principal, means the basic loan taken by the Neha, and the interest of 12% per annum on this 15,000 rupees. We have calculated this is as the interest. So principal, what is our principal? That is the 15,000 rupees plus rate of interest, that is the 6,000 rupees. So the total amount is nothing but the 56,000 rupees. This is the, so the Neha have to owe back the 56,000 rupees at the end of the 1 year to the bank. Okay, now what is the second method then? In the first method, we have to find out the interest on the basis of the 12% per annum by taking as the 100 rupees. Okay, now there is a standard formula. For example, we have to find out the interest, that is a simple interest. So interest is nothing but the PNR upon 100. Okay, PNR upon 100. What is the P here? P is nothing but the principal. Okay, so what is the principal is? Principal is nothing but the 50,000 rupees. Okay, multiplied by n. N is nothing but the time period for which we have taken the loan, or we have taken the certain principal amount. Okay, for here the Neha took the loan for the 1 year. That's why n is nothing but the 1. And what is the r then? R is nothing but the percent per annum, means the rate of interest is 12. Okay, divided by 100. So 2 0 get cancelled, and we get the interest of rupees 6,000. Okay, we get the interest of rupees 6,000. This is nothing but the interest. We have to find out the total amount, means we have to find out the amount. Okay, so principal plus interest is nothing but the total amount. What is our principal? Principal is nothing but the 15,000 rupees. So 50,000 rupees plus 6,000 rupees. Total, that is 56,000 rupees, is nothing but the amount that Neha should pay to the bank after the 1 year, or at the end of the 1 year. Okay, so we have solved this problem by the two methods. At the second method, we have applied the standard formula, but in the first method, we have taken, or we have find out the interest by taking the 12% per annum on the 100 rupees. Okay, so you can solve this problem by the both the methods. Okay, now the second problem is that the Akash deposited 25,000 rupees. Akash deposited 25,000 rupees in 3 years. Okay, at the rate of 8% per annum, PCPA. Okay, 8% per annum. Now, how much interest does he get every year? Okay, so how much interest does he get every year? So what is the problem now? That's Akash deposited 25,000 rupees in a certain bank for the 3 years. Okay, he deposited the 25,000 rupees in a certain bank for the 3 years. What is the rate of the interest then? The rate of the interest is nothing but the 8% per annum. Okay, now how much interest he get every year? We have to find out the rate of the interest every year, and then we have to find out the total rate of interest he get after the 3 years. Okay, we will find out the total rate of interest after the 3 years. Okay, so first of all, write down what we have given in the problem. We have given that the principal means the basic amount he deposited in the bank, that is the 25,000 rupees. Okay. Now for how much time of how much period of the time, that is for the time of period is 3 years. Okay, which is denoted by the year. And what is the R? R is nothing but the rate of the interest, which is nothing but the 8% per annum. Okay, and what we have to find out? We have to find out the interest. Okay, we have to find out the interest. Interest what? Interest every year. Okay, interest every year and the total interest after 3 years. That's the total interest and the interest after every year. Okay, so we will solve this problem again by our two methods. That's the one is our standard for your formula method, and first is we have taken that's 8% per annum. Okay, so 8% per annum is nothing but the 8 rupees on 100 rupees for 1 year. Okay, understood? That is the 8 rupees on the 100 rupees for the 1 year. That is the interval of the time is 1 year. Okay, 1 year interval of the time. Okay, so what is our principal? Principal is nothing but the 25,000 rupees. Okay, for the 1 year. So how much rate of interest or how much interest is given by the bank on the 25,000 rupees? Okay, so 8 rupees on 100 rupees. So how much rupees on 25,000 rupees? So simply get the cross multiplication. We get the value of the x, that is a 25,000 multiplied by 8 divided by 100. Okay, that is a 2,000 rupees. Okay, that's 2,000 rupees. So interest, that is x is nothing but the interest. What interest? That is the interest after the 1 year. That is 2,000 rupees interest is given by the bank to the Akash on the deposition of the 25,000 rupees. Okay, so after the 3 years he will get the 20,000, and that is the 2,000 multiplied by 3. That is the total 6,000 rupees interest the Akash will get after the end of the 3 years. Okay, now this is our the first method. Now by the second method, that's what is the interest? Interest nothing but the PNR upon 100. What is the P? P is nothing but the principal is our 25,000 rupees. What is the N? N is nothing but the time interval. Time interval is what? That is the first of all we have taken now we have find out the interest for the 1 year. Now in this formula we are going to find out the for the total, that is 3 years. Okay, so we have taken the, that is the N is nothing but the 3 years. Okay, and the rate of interest is nothing but the 8% per annum. That's the divided by 100. 0 0 get cancel. That's a 250 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 3. That's a 250 multiplied by 8 is nothing but 2,000. Okay, multiplied by 3. That is the 6,000 rupees. That the interest is nothing but the 6,000 rupees at the end of the 3 year. Here also we get the 6,000 rupees. So the Akash should get the 6,000 rupees as the interest on the deposition of the 25,000 rupees in a certain bank, and what rate? That's the 8% per annum for the interval of the 3 years. Okay, the time interval of the 3 years. Okay, so we can solve this problem of the simple interest by using the first method and also the our standard formula method. Okay, we have solved the two problems on your page number. Okay, so we are going to solve the practice set now. So these are the two problems we have solved on the simple interest and the simple interest. Okay, so now which formula we have seen here? That is the interest is nothing but the PNR upon 100. Now what is the P? P is nothing but the principal. Okay, P is nothing but the principal, that is the basic amount which is taken as the loan or which is you have to deposit in the bank account. Now what is the age? Age means nothing but the time interval for the 1 year or the 2 year or the 3 years which is taken in the years. Okay. Now what is the R? R is nothing but the rate of the interest which is given in the percent per annum. Okay. And this is nothing but the simple interest we have get. Okay. Now this simple interest plus this principal gives us the total amount which we will get after the specific, which will we get after this n years. Okay. Means if you have taken the loan, then you have to pay the certain this amount to the bank. Okay. And if you have deposited a certain amount to the bank, then after the n years the bank have to give this amount. Okay. So we are going to solve the problem on this formula. Okay. So the first problem is that the Sandeep Bhau borrowed 1,20,000 rupees from bank for 4 years at the rate of 8.5% per annum for his son's education. Okay. So what will be the total amount he should return? That is the total amount he should return to bank at the end of that period. Okay. So this is our question. Now what is our question? Our question is that Sandeep borrowed 1,20,000 rupees from the certain bank for the 4 years at the rate of 8.5% per annum for his son's education. So what is the total amount? Means what is the total amount he returned to the bank at the end of the period. Okay. So we are going to solve this problem. So what we have given, person write down what is given in the problem. That so he has taken or borrowed the basic amount of the 1,20,000 rupees. So this is nothing but our principal. Okay, 1,20,000 rupees. Okay, for how many years? And what is the time period or the interval of the time is what? That's which is denoted by the is nothing but the 4 years. Okay, is nothing but the 4 years. Now what is the rate of interest? That's what the R. R is nothing but the 8.5 means 8.5% per annum. Okay, 8.5 is nothing but the 8.5% per annum. Okay, we have to find out the total amount he has to return after the 4 years to the bank. Okay, we have to find out the total amount. Now what is the total amount? Total amount is nothing but the principal plus interest. You have to remember that when the total amount, in the exam, for example, in the exam, if they ask you the amount, then you have to find out the total amount as the principal plus interest. Okay, if you have found only the interest, then you will get only the half marks. Okay, so remember that when the total amount is asked in the question, then you have to find out the amount which is nothing but the principal plus interest. Okay, some students only find out the interest and they don't solve the problem. That is they don't solve the whole problem because they only find out the interest and they don't find out the amount. But in a question we have to find out the amount. Okay, so principal, that's the time interval, that's the rate of interest, and we have to find out the amount. So by our standard formula, that's the interest is nothing but the PNR upon 100. PNR upon 100, or PNR, you can also say that T is nothing but a time. You can also write the T at the position of the n, means T or n is nothing but the time interval one and the same thing. Okay, so what is the interest? That the principal is nothing but the 1,20,000. Okay, what's the T? That's the n is nothing but the time interval, that's 4 years, and what's the rate of interest is nothing but 8.5. Okay, divided by 100. okay, divided by 100. So 1,20,000 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 85 divided by 100 multiplied by 10. Why 10? Because the decimal we have multiplied by 85 by the 10, and also the numerator and denominator both get multiplied by 10. So the 88.5 gets converted into the 85. So the 0 get cancelled. So 120 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 85. Okay, means the 480 multiplied by 85. Okay, so 480 multiplied by 85. This is nothing but the 40800, means 40,800 rupees. Okay, 40,800 rupees. That's a 480 multiplied by 85 is nothing but 40,800 rupees. So 40,800 rupees is nothing but our the interest. Okay, so what we have to find here? We have to find out the amount, means how much rupees or how much money the Sandeep Pau should return to the bank at the end of the 4 years. So 40,800 rupees is only our the interest. So what is the total amount? Total amount is nothing but the principal amount plus interest. Okay, principal amount plus interest. Now what is our principal? That's a 1,20,000 rupees is our principal. And what is the interest? That is 14,800 rupees is our interest. Okay, so what is the total? The total is nothing but the 1,16,800 rupees. Okay, the total amount is nothing but the 1,60,800 rupees Sandeep Pau have to return to the bank. Okay, so what is our total amount? Is the 1,60,800 rupees. So this is the solved problem on your book, and now we are going to solve the problem on the practice set. Okay, we are going to solve the practice set 40 on page number 73. Okay.